variety of reasons.
Yeah, what's up, dude?
There was one main reason they were fighting, as specified by speeches made by Grant, Lincoln, Jefferson Davis. They all agreed based on the main fundamental reason they were fighting. So what was that?
Shut the fuck up.
You understand the reason why people like declare they're going to war, and the reason that they actually do go to war are two entirely different things, right?
What? No. Okay,
yeah.
In your honest opinion,
like as an example, Putin is using the current that section that's under rebel control and like the protection of the citizens there that are like ethnically Russian as his justification for the invasion. Except he's not invading that area; he's invading all the rest of Ukraine. So his reasons aren't really the reasons that they're saying.
Wait a minute.
The Civil War was like largely the Civil War had like a whole bunch of components. Basically, the shift from agrarian to industrial. The South had a agrarian economy. The North had an industrial economy. Slavery probably would have been phased out within the next like 30 to 40 years, regardless of like anybody's opinions on the subject.
Flamenco, I know I asked you a question. You're like using the Russian analogy when you really don't need to. I'm just asking, in your personal opinion, what do you think the main factor was?
I just explained. It was there was a large amount of economic reasons, namely that there was an agrarian economy and there's an agrarian economy in the South and an industrial economy to the North.
Wait, you think the North and the South went to war because of a difference between an agrarian economy and an industrialized economy?
Yeah. Yes.
They went to war because of economic disputes directly relating to slavery.
Right. And the
South relied on slaves. The North was more industrialized, so the North didn't need to rely on slaves. The South primarily relied on slaves for the majority of their economy, and there was a rising abolitionist sentiment in the North.
Not nearly to the extent that would convince people to go to war. Lincoln was even up to the point where he was...
Can you guys shut the fuck up? Holy shit.
What do you mean not to the extent? Have you seen Bleeding Kansas before the Civil War? There were people literally shooting at fucking soldiers over this. To say this wasn't a reason to solely go to war is like insane.
I mean, the draft rights in New York seemed to suggest that there was a unpopular sentiment to the war. It wasn't like, suddenly everybody in the North decided to be more moralistic and decide to go and invade the South to free the slaves.
Nobody is claiming that. The problem was
that's the way
South,
you're selling it as, and that's generally whenever people start saying it was about slavery and only about slavery, that's kind of like the retard take that was actually made fun of like up towards like 20 years ago.
Well, no, and you had this discussion with Destiny. I think he explained it perfectly to you.
No, he really didn't. I think he was saying that the same thing that you were, that the abolitionist sentiment was actually like super popular in the North, which it really wasn't.
Okay, I'm not saying super popular, but there was a significant abolitionist sentiment, and amongst politicians in the North as well. There was also a militant abolitionist motivation. There were people like John Brown in events like Bleeding Kansas.
Abolitionist John Brown,
whose abolitionist movement and rebellion failed spectacularly and got all the people involved executed. Exactly.
Okay, that's completely irrelevant to the point that I'm making.
No, your point is that it was a popular sentiment. I'm
not finished. Do you not think that if there is militant abolitionists running around threatening that through violent means, do you not think that was enough of a motivation for the South to secede from the Union?
I don't think it was a reason for the South to secede from the Union now.
So what reason do you think the South gave for seceding from the Union?
Again, like I said, economic reasons primarily.
What economic reasons?
The shift between agrarian, slave, and industrial non-slave.
Agrarian. So it's about slaves. You say economic, and then at the end of the day, when I break down the specifics of it, it always comes back to slavery.
Yes, the economic impact of slavery, not the moralistic implications of slavery, which is what you're trying to invoke when you say that, and it's a retarded take.
Wait, no, that's not what I'm trying to invoke. It is what you're trying to invoke. It is what the people who do that, that is what they're trying to invoke. So now you're making this generalization argument where you're taking arguments other people have made and you're grouping it in with me when I've never made the claim or tried to argue this from a standpoint of morality. My standpoint,
from a popular standpoint.
Hold on.
And then I debunked that.
First of all, no, I never never brought up the standpoint of morality. The thing we are,
I just said popularity. Keep up.
Are you gonna? Okay, I know you're like getting a little.
I know
nervous.
that you're flustered and you're getting BTFO.
Wait,
try to keep up.
You can let me finish a sentence. That would be really nice. So first of all, right, I never tried to argue this from a standpoint of morality. We were arguing solely based on motivations. The motivation.
Well, you also tried to argue from a popularity.
Bro,
standpoint.
are you
moving back from the popularity standpoint?
Are you gonna let me finish a point?
Are you gonna stop lying?
Lying? You're not even letting me finish a point.
Okay.
What? So first of all, I never tried to argue from a standpoint of morality. I was arguing from a standpoint of motivation as to why the South decided to secede. I asked you what reasons. You said it was a difference between an agrarian and industrialized economy, and you said it was a variety of economic reasons. I said specify what economic reasons, and you brought up slavery again.
The economic reasons primarily driven by the difference between slavery and non-slavery, which is why states would be brought into the Union too at the time.
I can do this like I can do this like 6 times, but like if I can't like finish like one point or like one part of my sentence, like I mean, I don't think you actually like want a discussion. You just want to be.
So y'all both agree that slavery is like the main.
Slavery's bad, right?
Slavery was an aspect of it, yeah.
The main aspect of it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think it was the main driving force of it, or at least the morality of it specifically. There was the economic aspect, and
the economic aspect was the main driving force. That's what you're saying. And
the slavery. Well, I think it was one of the main driving forces.
One of the main.
There was also like a just general difference in culture and seeing as like differences between like two different peoples. But yeah, for the most part.
So, anyways, no. So I asked you because I want to. So you disagree when I claim that slavery was the main reason for the South secession, correct?
What aspect of slavery are you arguing was the main aspect of?
I'm just arguing the institution of slavery. Do you think
no, I don't argue that.
You don't think that was the main motivating factor for the South secession, the debate over slavery?
Right, but mainly its economic impact.
Okay, the debate over slavery covers economics, right?
Yeah, I'm aware of that.
So what do you disagree about?
I don't think I argued against that at all.
So what? I literally just said
what? What?
I just said, what do you think the main reason for the South secession was? You're like, economic reasons. I ask you to specify, and it comes back to slavery. When my only statement and my only claim has been that the South's main reason for secession was slavery. So what part of that do you disagree with?
I wouldn't say it's the only one, and again, it's not about the moralistic
I never made that
aspect
claim.
of it.
I never said it's the only one. That's a complete straw man.
No, it's an argument I've heard people make before, and I'm pretty sure that you were trying to make that argument.
So you're arguing against people that aren't even here.
Okay, buddy.
No, you see, it's a cop out when you claim.
Instead of appealed to popular sentiment when you were making the argument, and then when you got like kind of wrecked on that, you immediately shifted focus off of that. So I mean, it's okay, but it's whatever.
Instead of actually trying to argue against what I'm saying, you're using this cop out strategy where you're like, well, I've heard other people say it. Well, I'm not other people. I'm me. So address the claims that I'm making here in this call. That's how a debate works, right?
Okay.
So my claim is, right, whether it be the economic factors, the moral factors, whatever you're trying to argue from it, the institution of slavery and the effects of it were the main cause of the South secession. Do you disagree with that?
The main reason, definitely a driving factor.
So if you don't think that's the main reason,
there might have also been some like economic treaties and things that the government was signing into the time that might have also had an impact on it. But yeah, primarily.
What economic treaties? What economic treaties? I want you to read it.
I think like wasn't it like I want to say it was the UK that was sort of like semi considering backing the South during the Civil War simply because they wanted more agricultural products and to make the textiles in their own factories as opposed to the North.
Wait, we're discussing the reason the South seceded in the first place. So whether the UK supported them after they seceded or not is irrelevant. We're talking about
I'm wondering if there was also economic treaties that were signed that kind of disincentivized that sort of
well, there were many treaties that were signed, but at the end of the day, most of them came down to slavery. Whether I think it's the Kansas-Nebraska Act, if I'm correct. I'm gonna have to double check that. At the end of the day, most of the disputes between southern states and northern states, whether it be economic or moral reasons, all came down to slavery itself. Even when I challenge you, when you say, "Oh, it's economics," when I challenge you and say, "What are the economic reasons?" It's economic reasons directly relating to the institution of slavery. So at the end of the day, the main factor of the South secession is slavery, whether it be
the economic
moral or
impacts of slavery. No, definitely not moral. The moral argument you completely had to back off on because you were completely wrong.
What?
Yeah. What?
Did I not?
I'm sorry. I'm just that sort of like performative of gasness is like really fucking obnoxious, and I like to call it out whenever I hear it.
Yeah, no, and it's not obnoxious when you go.
It's very obnoxious.
Every 2 seconds. That's not obnoxious.
Very fucking obnoxious.
Own me, buddy.
Yeah.
Own me, buddy. It's not obnoxious when you go every like 2 fucking seconds.
That's showing that I'm listening to you.
Well, thank you.
Sorry,
you're very attentive. But what I wanted, so literally that's all I was saying. That slavery was the main factor for the South secession. You're like, well, it wasn't slavery that was the main factor. It was the economic effects of slavery. That's still slavery.
Yeah,
that
I know.
Still boils. So you fucking agree?
I haven't disagreed with that assessment at all during this talk.
You haven't disagreed with that assessment?
That it was the economic impacts of slavery that was the primary driving factor? Yeah.
What do you mean you haven't? My only claim was that slavery was the main factor for the South secession. And your argument is, oh, well, it was economic reasons. So I'm like, what economic reasons? Economic reasons relating to slavery.
Yes.
So you agree the main reason was slavery?
Sure. The economic impact of it, yeah.
So what, did I just waste the last fucking 7 minutes of my life? I think I've made my point clear from the beginning. I don't know how you didn't understand that.
Aiden, who the fuck are you talking to?
You.
Why are you like making all this big gas things? That you're trying to, or is it trying to, are you trying to convey something when you say something like that in this like baked exasperation?
I don't know what you're talking about. We're having a discussion about the South secession from the Union. I genuinely.
You're talking 100% genuinely like a real human being, right?
Are you okay?
I mean, keep on doing that whatever you do it, Aiden.
I feel like you're about to call my mom. Please don't call my mom.
You gotta admit, Flam, that was a good one.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's the one W that Aiden's gotten through this conversation so far.
Okay, you know what? I want to get Chat's opinion. Chat, whether you hate me or like me, I want everybody to be completely unbiased in this. Who do you think took the L in this debate? Just be completely unbiased, regardless of what you think of me.
It's over now?
I have no idea. I don't know if Aiden wants to continue arguing.
How did we start talking about the Civil War?
I have no idea. I don't. Who the fuck added me to the call?
Aiden did.
The chat is going so fucking fast.
Also, Flam, I just want to say, yeah, are really annoying. It seems like you learned nothing from your fucking Nick debate back in November.
Yeah, Flamenco. I think that we can both.
I'm pretty sure I won that one too.
There's some scrumptious looking.
The one that you mauled it out and sounded like you were crying. I don't.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think you won that, but that's just my opinion.
I got like kind of annoyed at the shit that Aiden's also doing, which, oh gosh, I wonder where Aiden and Nick got that from. Oh, really makes you think.
You understand Nick? I think Nick's like siding with me in the chat on this argument.
Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Nick.
Yeah, because Aiden, you're literally little Nick. Like,
no, you're winning because you're not flamenco, dude.
Well, okay, I don't disagree, but at the end of the day, I just think like I hear a lot of these people saying, "Oh, the Civil War wasn't about slavery," so I ask them, "Okay, what was it really about?" You know, every time we break it down, it always just comes back to slavery. So these arguments like make no sense to me because if you agreed the whole time, why not just say I agree?
Yeah, it's not about slavery. It just has slavery in them.
I lost interest when it became a debate.
Yeah.
I don't think it's about slavery. It's about scrumptious looking kids and shit.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
All right. Dumpy, have a good day, buddy.
You know, this is why I accused him of being a child predator. Comments like this.
All right, well.